And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website, baby. Go there. Welcome back to the show. It's been a month. It's been exactly 1 month since an episode has been uploaded. And you know what? No excuses. You might hear Nova in the background slapping around her, what's it called? Cat tower? Scratch tower. Oh, she just cooed or something. Anyway, it's been a while. Let's see what happened. What happened to me this past month? Well, I got married. No, I was just like, yeah, I got married. No. The first week, one of those weeks was Thanksgiving, so I would not have done an episode. But I did. You better believe I had stories lined up. I have a whole list of things, so that's why we got to hurry this up. This prelude, whatever it is. Let's see. Couldn't do it 1 week. Couldn't do it another week. Didn't do it 1 week. Didn't do it last week. That's basically it. I wanted to do it last week, and then I just did not have the time to or the care for it. So why not? And then I said, this weekend, I said, you know what? It'll be a month on Monday. Might as well just jump back in then. So here we are. No rhyme or reason to it. You might see my face is a little bit brighter on my right side because I did get a work-sanctioned monitor to go with this MacBook they gave me. Shout out to the good people at Warner Media for this giant iMac monitor that is too big for the desk. And also about 2 generations behind. But you know what? You know what? It makes everything on this on the MacBook, which is last year's MacBook, look nice and big. And that's what I was aiming for. I wanted a monitor, and then I was told, "Yeah, I can get you one." I went to go get it today, and as soon as the person opened up their trunk, I went, "Nope, too big." Like, well, you don't have to go to the trunk; it's too big for the trunk. If you have to open it, if you have to open your trunk to get something, then it's gonna be too big. And he gave it to me, and it was like hefty. Slid it over me. I said, "Thank you." It's so heavy. I don't know how to describe it. It's an iMac monitor. Like if you built it, or if you bought. I don't know. Would they sell this with a Mac Mini? I don't know. Yeah, I guess they would, because otherwise, this is just an external monitor. It's not a computer. I don't think. It looks like an iMac. This might be an iMac. Can you just plug things into an iMac and make them a monitor? I guess so, but it's a giant. It's huge, and boy, this bezel is huge, gigantic, ginormous. Anyway. So that's it. I got food poisoning last Sunday, and Nova, you gotta be quiet. I got food poisoning last Sunday night, and I was with somebody, and we had pizza. And as soon as I got home, we ate at like maybe 6 or 7. I got home and it was like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and I'm watching TV, and I go, this is not sitting well, and then I go to bed, and I wake up 2 hours after I go to bed. So I go to bed at like 10 o'clock, and I wake up at like midnight, and I gotta run to the toilet, run to the bathroom, and I try to go back to sleep. And then sometime around 2 a.m. I go, I just can't go back to sleep. So I'm up the rest of the night. I got 2 hours of sleep. No. I got 2 hours total. I got 1 hour of sleep, and then I was up all night. And then at around 3:30, I started watching TV around 2:30 or 3 o'clock. Because I'm not going to be at the gym in 2 hours, so I might as well do this. So then I started watching TV. It was a new Family Guy, so I started watching the new Family Guy. And then I started falling asleep. So I said, okay, maybe I can wake up with my alarm. So let me get at least an hour wake up with my alarm. So I went to sleep, and then I overslept. I woke up at like 5:20, or no, 5. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, got to the gym at 5:30. Still felt like crap. So I took it very easy. And then when I was running, I said, please don't die while running. At the end of every workout, I do cardio, so I can get some Peloton points, which aren't real things. I just want to get the class done. I want to do a class at least 5 times a week. So five classes, or 2 classes a day, 10 classes. So I was running, and I was just hoping. I was like, please, I don't want my guts to fall out of me. Oh, please, I don't want anything else to come out. And then I made it home, and everything started to subside around, I want to say, noon or 2 o'clock. I did take a nap. I took a huge nap. We had a meeting at 10 o'clock, and usually these meetings don't go past the hour. This one, don't even go past 30 minutes. This one went well into the hour, and I went, okay, all right, guys, come on. It's usually an hour, and then a couple minutes over, I was like, guys, come on. Finished off the work stuff, and then at like noon, I didn't even eat lunch. I was starving because I'd run like 5 miles that day, and I just went to sleep. And then I woke up around 2-ish. It felt terrible, and had several more meetings until 6 o'clock, and then oh boy, but now here we are, alive and well, considering. Oh God, one of these stories is from the 19th of November. Whatever, it still works. I hope I don't miss an episode for the rest of the year. We'll see. Still working on catching up on news time. I'll tell you, before I got this Warner job, it was the main reason, because I got a part-time job before this, is why I was late on news time, or I ever missed a news time week, is because of that. Not the first time, maybe the second time, but the first time was 2 years ago. Second time was when I started the job, October. Second time was in like September or August, which I was not a fan of. So we're doing something new with this setup. I'm using this iMac to my advantage. This iMac display to my advantage. I swear it's an iMac. It's got to be. Doesn't have USB-C, but it's an iMac. So everything all of my notes are on this separate monitor, so I should never see slowdown on my laptop, my personal laptop. 6 minutes in, let's go. This first one comes from The Verge, written by Sean Hollister. Apple just provided the perfect example of why you can't trust App Store review scores. You know what I should have done was refresh my memory of all these stories, because I don't know half of this stuff. So Apple review scores have been, what is the easiest way to say this? Non-trustworthy. There's a lot of non-trustworthy ways that Apple can mess with the reviews in the stores. For example, someone's been playing around. Nova, I'm recording a show. Please. Several hundreds of thousands of people listen to this. Apple Podcasts, sorry. It is Apple Podcasts. Yes. App Store. Yes. I'm trying to refresh myself with this. Okay. So Apple can mess with internally, and this is something that, even Google could do, and Amazon could do as well. Apple can mess with the reviews of a show, or of an app in the App Store if they see that there's any wrongdoing. But the problem is they can do this period going on for themselves at all. So in that case, the Apple Podcasts app, which is the app that comes with Apple products, has been poorly reviewed, and people don't like it at all. It's not a good app, but the layperson isn't one to go find another app. They're not going to be like you or me, and because I assume if you listen to this, you listen to podcasts regularly at some position. I was adjusting the mic if you heard that. And the Apple Podcast app itself went from 1.8 star score all the way up to 4.6 in less than a month, without the changes that people want to see inside of the app itself. So this has been the evidence of this is there is a website called App Figures Data that Mr. Hollister has, is his name Hollister? Yeah. Has included with this. Starting on November 1st, Monday, November 1st, the app was at around 2.3, hovering around 2.3. And then Thursday, November 18th, the app was changed to 4.84. But you can see in between from the 1st and 18th over the course of the 18 days, I can count. There you can see a steady increase from 2.38 all the way up to 2.75, and then it just jettisoned up 2 whole points to 4.74, and that was on the 5th. So between the 1st and the 5th, Apple inherently changed these scores. Right. I don't know if you heard Nova just coo in the background. Or purr, or chirp, that's what it's called. The amount of 5-star reviews, even if you look at the graphing data, on November, let's choose November 3rd, for instance, where the entirety of the reviews, the count for the reviews that day were 47 total, with the majority of them being 28, majority of them being 1-star reviews, and then the second biggest number being 5-star reviews, landing at 7. But then if you look at November 17th, 6,950 reviews, with 6,292 being 5-star reviews, and the closest number after that being 4-star reviews with 443. Apple has been manipulating these numbers. And it's a not just a privacy concern, but it creates distrust inside of the App Store ecosystem, an ecosystem that is in fact closed off, which will hopefully change. Apple confirmed to The Verge that it's using a new prompt, but claims it's nothing out of the ordinary. And then it gives a text boiler response. Text boiler. A text boiler response. Maybe that's the episode title. I fight so hard to find these titles throughout this show. Guys, I'm recording. Stop honking horns. They weren't able to track down the copy of the prompt for themselves. The prompt that says, hey, please review this. And, or excuse me, I'm sorry. The 5-star reviews. But it is indeed a standard feature of the App Store. One you can even turn off under Settings, App Store, In-App Ratings and Reviews. Oh, interesting. You can turn off that prompt. Oh, I would love to turn that off. Thank you I didn't even get that far when I read this article initially. But intentional or not, standard or not, the problem with what star scores is there's no way to tell whether they're legitimate, which is true. The same thing, though, goes for Amazon, even if you're on an Amazon store. I was just reading reviews for something on Amazon. Oh, for a device that's like the Roomba, except it's called like Ecovee. It's like a wet mop and a combination mop and vacuum, but it's like a Roomba style. And it's on sale, so I was looking at the reviews, and I saw it only had a couple hundred reviews, which is crazy for something like that. And I was reading the reviews, and the top one was very detailed. This is how you know it's real. It's a very detailed review. 1 star. So that's how you know it's real. It's very detailed. That's how I know it's real. Very detailed. 1 star. And they said update. They tried to pay me $100 to get a 5-star review. And they look at all the 5-star reviews, and they're like generic, like, this is great. This is the best thing in the world. It sucks. It cleans. It does the things. And yeah, same way. Don't trust all reviews. Just read, and then type in review on Google. Like type in device review or app review, whatever on Google. Do as much research as possible, or Bing, whatever you use. Do as much research as possible so that you know exactly. And I'm not a guy who likes reviews on movies and TV shows and video games, but anymore. But these devices I buy, I just bought a sous vide machine, a precision cooker. I just bought one of those, and I knew which one I wanted. And no one has I have the upgraded version of that, and no one has reviews on that, but they have the review of this one below it. So I hopefully this is the most powerful one is the one that is just as good. Hey, Chris Cuomo got fired. Let me just timestamp this. Chris Cuomo was fired in the past 24 hours, and Halo Infinite's review embargo is up for the story. I've been playing some of that multiplayer, and I don't like playing multiplayer games, but I've been playing some of it, and it's fun. I remember, you always forget if you don't ever play multiplayer games, and I forgot how fun it could be. Same thing with Call of Duty. I'm not a person who goes out and buys Call of Duty every year or a sports game every year, but when for the past couple of years, Call of Duty. You get free versions on PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold if you subscribe, and same thing for NBA games and Madden games and NHL games. And so I pull up, even though they're 2 years old, I pull up those versions of the games and I go, wow, this is great, this is so fun. And then they come out, but they come out every single year, and it's just like I get it, I get the drive to want to play those, but I just have no interest in spending $60, $70 now. You charge me $10 extra because I have an Xbox Series X? Anyway, same thing for PlayStation 5. Like, I want to buy Spider-Man Miles Morales, but God forbid I don't want to spend $70 on the PS5 launch edition. You should just be able to buy games on, just like some games on Xbox. You should be able to buy games and they upgrade for free. That's it. I don't have to. I shouldn't have to buy an upgraded version. I just bought the upgraded version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 on PlayStation 4 because it's fine. It costs $5 more than the PS4 version. I'm like, well, God, what if I get a PS5 one day? I don't want to play the downgraded looking version. Okay, let's go to the next one. This comes from the Wall Street Journal, written by Ann Steele, as Taylor Swift re-recorded her Red album, Universal Reworked Contracts. And this is just a very interesting feature piece about how musicians like Taylor have to take ownership of their music, and they got bad deals, and and this still happens to this day. Like, people like Megan Thee Stallion got a bad deal, and let me see if I name somebody else. Even in the early days, and so that's why you see people who are now getting older sell off their stuff, sell off their catalogs and their rights to their music, because yes, they can have the numbers like Bruce Springsteen, and they have the fan base like Bob Dylan, or even Fleetwood Mac. Who is it? Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks sold hers. So even Stevie Nicks, but it's they're getting $300 million, $500 million for $100 million, $200 million if you're a woman, because you're less than a man. Just joking. But they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars. They're still going. That music is going to still be here, and the new music is, if people like Springsteen, still making new music. So there's many ways to make money, with the exception, that includes touring, that includes licensing out the music or selling the catalog. I also had a cold last week. I drank so much tea on Friday. I drank so much tea. Don't die. You don't get sick. And I just think this is a very good piece that covers Taylor's move to remake all this. They want to own their master recordings, and that's the thesis of this. In a typical record deal, label can take 80% of streaming revenue, which isn't that much, with just 20% going to the artist, which is less than not that much. When artists own their masters, they keep around 80 to 95% of that revenue. Again, they only own pennies. So if you want to support somebody, go see them on tour and also buy their music. Just buy it. You're going to say, who buys music anymore? I buy music sometimes. Recently? No, but sometimes. Prior to Universal's change, the industry standard re-recording restriction said an artist can't re-record until 5 years after the delivery of their last recording under the agreement, or 2 years from the end of the recording contract's term, whichever is later. Universal has new proposals, thanks to Taylor Swift, to increase those periods to 7 and 5 years, respectively, and tacked on another 7-year post period. So up to 14 to 15 years that you can't re-record your songs. To end the re-recording restriction, during which the artist is barred from re-recording more than 2 songs. Lawyers and executives say that prevents an artist from creating competitive recordings during a typical recording's biggest monetization period, which is within 10 years of its initial release. Wow. Universal also has more terms because of Taylor's move. Some of the other terms Universal has added to its contracts include increases in royalty payments to artists and more transparency into how royalties are calculated. Often Universal's contract adjustments become industry standard because they are the biggest. They are the biggest. But I think the bigger artists are going to find a way around this. I don't think they're going to let themselves be bowled over by big music management companies like Universal. This next one comes from Variety, read by Todd Spangler. Disney, Warner Media carve up Fox film slate streaming rights through end of 2022. This is the last year, not calendar year. This is the last year that you will see 20th Century Films go to HBO Max, be split between HBO Max and Disney Plus. 20th Century, which is Fox, or Fox Broadcasting's old movie studio, or is it now 21st Century? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Who gives a crap? 20th, which is now a Disney company. Their movies used to be, when you have a movie studio and you release movies, and then we have this streaming thing. There's different ways that it can go to streaming or go to cable, first it's got to air on cable, or first it's got to air on, well, it used to be first airs on cable. First releases on DVD and digital and Blu-ray. Then it goes to cable, then it goes to streaming. Then it goes to cable, and so now it used to be that those movies could go to whatever Warner's HBO Now, or now HBO Max, and Hulu, or now Disney Plus. But the deal is going to change after this year because it's more lucrative for Disney Plus to just have it for itself. Disney to have it on Disney Plus and Hulu. That's right. Hulu is in the mix as well. So at the end of 2022, movies like Ron's Gone Wrong and other 20th films like Prey, which is the new installment to the Predator franchise, they're going to hit HBO Max as well as Disney Plus. December 15th it's when Ron's Gone Wrong launches. But then it's going to launch from that point forward, from 2023 on forward. Ron's Gone Wrong 2, Ron's Gone Wronger, is going to land only on Disney Plus and Hulu. Boom, there you go. Oh, Prey is going to be exclusively available on Hulu in the U.S. and Latin America on Stars Plus and Disney Plus on Star. Okay, well, there you go. Anyway, that deal's done with. So this next bit, I feel like I have to sneeze, and it's killing me. Nova's watching me. She's sitting on the kitchen table, watching her papa. All right, this next bit is about Yellowstone, everyone's dad's favorite show. And if you don't know what Yellowstone is, there's going to be a primer here in a second. And it turns out I only have 2 articles about it. So this first piece comes from Emily Vanderwerf over at Vox. Yellowstone is one of TV's biggest hits. What's Yellowstone anyway? Second piece comes from Vulture, written by Joseph Adelian. Yellowstone is defying the streaming model. And the crux of both these articles is, let me just plug in the laptop here so that the battery doesn't keep dying, but also I can't jiggle out the Zoom H6 audio interface machine. My voice sounds great, but my nose is stuffy and there's phlegm everywhere. Which is how I love to spend my Monday afternoons in between meetings. Should have done that on mic. Maybe I'll, nah, I won't do that. Oh, BuzzFeed's a public company now. Oh, man. Oh, God. Let me save that for, yeah, it's a perfect article for this coming episode. This week's episode. So, Yellowstone is basically Succession, but on a ranch. Except Yellowstone's on Paramount Network. And now there's one spinoff airing right now, but there's also I think that's a prequel. There's also going to be another spinoff coming at some point. Yellowstone, it's very slow. I think there's death involved. I have no idea, but Emily does a fantastic job of chronicling what's going on. There might be some politics involved in it, and I think that's why people kind of like it all. And I mean, more or less, it is in fact Succession, proto-Succession, and they're building a world and everything. But the most important part of this is this show is succeeding both on linear cable and in streaming. And by that I mean Paramount Network, which used to be Spike TV. I've done a couple episodes, probably of News Time and this show, on so that's a couple, on how Paramount wants Paramount Network to be a good premium cable, but regular cable network, a good premium cable, regular cable network. Just like, I think that's what FX is. I really do. Thank you for rubbing my leg. No, I appreciate it. I think that's what FX is. I think FX is a very good linear cable network, mimicking what HBO and Showtime are doing, but for the masses who don't pay for HBO and Showtime. Okay, so Paramount Network Paramount Network's ratings for this show are close to 8 million. To put that in perspective, at the height of Friends, they would get like 25 some odd million. Let me see the ratings on that. And then let's see, Friends ratings. Did not mean IMDb ratings. I will just go to the Wikipedia. So let's see. In season 10 of Friends, they were getting 25 million. 25 million people. And let me go to the Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory was in a... Wikipedia is not like friggin' Google. You gotta type things in. At the height of Big Bang Theory's popularity in season 9, it was getting 20 million. And that's just the average. And I believe but it's still double digits. So obviously there's more things to watch when Big Bang Theory ended in 2019. But they were still getting 12 to 13 million viewers per episode. And now a good show, like on ABC, for instance, like the Goldbergs or even Jimmy Kimmel Live or Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, they'll get 3 to 4, if that. Some episodes of Fallon and Colbert and shows like that, late night shows, they'll get 1 million, and that's good. Some shows on CW get 500,000, and that's horrible. They get less than 500,000, but they gotta go with it. I wonder how. This is a little digression, but I wonder how that plan's going to play out for CW. They just went to, I said episode News Time on them going to 7 nights a week of original programming from 8 to 10 p.m. on during the primetime slots. I wonder how that's going to work out for them. I have no views of that. I have no future sight of that. And I mean, it's people usually fight over ABC, Fox, CBS, and NBC, but if CBS really wants to solidify itself, it needs to stop relying on the same types of shows that are Riverdale and The Flash, which are probably their 2 highest rated shows, and those get like probably 8 million viewers, but there are shows on there that get less than 500,000, and or specials on there that get less than 500,000, and I don't know why that. I mean, come on, stop doing the same cookie cutter, white teens date each other shows, pretty white teens date each other shows. Yellowstone is doing really well for Paramount Network. They're getting 8 million viewers. And then those numbers are also jettisoned higher because Yellowstone is streaming on Peacock, which it might be because Peacock, that might be the reason why Peacock is still around. Peacock just canceled today. They just canceled AP Bio, which is one of 3 reasons I would say get Peacock. Girls 5 Eva, AP Bio, and the Saved by the Bell reboot. Those are all just fantastic shows, and it sucks that AP Bio was canceled. Other shows that did well on both streaming and in their linear airing, Breaking Bad. That's it. It seemed like I was going to name more shows, but definitely it. And then we have things like FX on Hulu, which has been renamed to just FX. I think that's going because they're trying to do a whole rebranding of FX. So shows that are everything that's on FX, everything that's on FXX as well, FX movies on Hulu now. Instead of it all being FX on Hulu, it's going to be FX, not FXX, not FX on movies. Just all on FX. I mean, I'm intrigued as to why Yellowstone does so well. I mean, is it the idea that its target audience, which is probably middle-aged white people, ages 35 to that's too young. Ages 42 to 78. They're not the ones that are jumping off the cable bandwagon or the satellite bandwagon. And do people still have satellite TV? And then and moving on to just streaming. But it's SVOD is they might have seen it on Peacock or Paramount Plus if it's on there, and then said I need to catch this show whenever it airs, and then resubscribe for that. So. Congratulations, Yellowstone, and it's proof that shows can still exist outside of streaming, or both live with a good streaming habit and not a good streaming habit. This next one comes from The Verge. Mitchell Clark. YouTube gives dislikes, the thumbs down hides public counts. Now this is going to be a quick one because I have one thought on this. I think it's a good idea. Same thing with what the thing is. YouTube is hiding dislike numbers. And it's supposed to be public dislike numbers, and it's supposed to promote respectful interactions between viewers and creators. The dislike button will still be there. You can still dislike, but it'll be private feedback rather than public sharing. And they've been practicing, experimenting with hiding the dislike numbers here and there, as well as individual creators have had the ability to hide their ratings on videos for a very long time. I think all of YouTube hates this. And a couple of years ago, YouTube decided to, I think all of YouTube users hate this. And a couple of years ago, YouTube, the company, decided to do away with screen names and effectively use your real Google name on YouTube, which I think was a step too far, but also I think it's kind of a good idea. Like if you're going to say something trashy and hurtful on the internet, don't don't hide behind that face. I mean, come on. But then that led to people making fake Google accounts. I know because at the time I had a coworker that did that. Made a Bill Cosby account. Uh, there's a lot of people who people who go to a YouTube channel and there's a lot of videos on C Plus Comedy's YouTube channel that have just been disliked for no apparent reason, or like people just want to start something, and some people just, they'll go to a video and dislike it for no reason and then leave a comment saying I dislike this, like I clicked on this video just to do that, and you don't. My thing is, I don't understand why you're mad. Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, in all his magnanimous glory, made a whole video about this. Anytime. One, I don't want to hear the rich talk down to the poor. I don't want to hear someone with 10 million subscribers or however many look down upon the people who have 1,000, and they say one thing like, I'm not a fan of this this video game, and then that person who is doing this for a hobby, or they're doing this because they want to start doing this as like a career, and they have 500 dislikes and 10 likes. And I mean, it's just, and you have to look down from your throne of 10 million viewers and your quote unquote crispy videos and go, I don't like this. This is not going to promote community. I watch reviews for IGN reviews, which the company does not review. Excuse me. The company does not review the games. The people that work for the company review the games. And also, you don't need to attack people. You don't need to attack the company. You don't need to go to a video and dislike it and say, "Hey, you didn't play the whole game." Jesus. Anyway, I just don't like community engagement at all. You don't need to. That is. I was thinking about this morning. There's whole comedians, and again, I used to subscribe to 100 podcasts, and now it's been taken down to 30. And if I stayed subscribed to a lot of the comedy podcasts or even the news podcasts, I would hate the people that I like that work with them, because I was getting so much exposure to them and their thoughts and their opinions, and everybody, especially in the comedy community, is just friggin' jaded, and I just don't want to have to deal with all this stuff. So that's why I hide. I have whenever I'm on my computer, I hide YouTube comments. I have a Chrome extension as well as a Firefox extension, because I switch between both to hide YouTube comments, because you don't need that. And I wish there was one to hide likes and dislikes, but I also use likes to indicate that I need to watch this video again at some point. And this was spurned, and this happened November 10th, and this was spurned, because of channels like Nintendo's YouTube channel. They put out I can't even remember. Was it Pokemon? It might have been a Pokemon trailer or an Animal Crossing trailer, but they put out some type of video trailer for one of their games, and it was the most disliked. Oh no, it was for the N64 expansion pack on for Nintendo Switch Online, and it became the most disliked video on YouTube, which is not it happens all the time. It became the most disliked video on YouTube, and because people just don't like the messaging. They're like, oh, you have to pay an extra $15 a year to access this. I just don't buy the thing. It's not public discourse when there's 10,000 sheep disliking a video. You're just mad because someone else is mad, and that person's mad because they think they have to buy this thing that they don't have to buy, or they have to support this thing they don't have to support. Jesus. People are so stupid. I said it was going to be short, but whatever. Moving on. Oh, and then why the thumbs down is leaving. This comes from Axios, written by Sarah Fisher and Ashley Gold. It's just talking about the reasons why this is happening. and it kind of has good reasons, and like how different companies have their like buttons or mean different things. Facebook has a bunch of like their like buttons different from LinkedIn's like button, and LinkedIn's like button's different from Twitter's like button. So whatever. I think it's a good move, and YouTube should not renege on this because I think it's a wonderful move. Next up, newsletters will never die. This comes from this is my last free article on The Atlantic. This comes from The Atlantic, written by Dave Pell, and I think it's a terrific piece that covers something I've been talking about for a long time, for a year probably. Newsletters are a very important part of the internet itself. Newsletters have become ubiquitous. I think they've outlasted blogs. They're doing better than vlogs. You know, a newsletter can convey someone's point, whether you agree to it or not, in such a fashion, especially if they're a wonderful writer, that it means much more than a video. Newsletters were invented hundreds of thousands of years ago. When hundreds of thousands, thousands of years ago, apparently the Romans did the newsletter. They brought it to existence, and in the Middle Ages, newsletters became common forms of communication. It's just a way to convey information, and now it's a way to convey information with a little attitude, with your voice. 14 million customers of a single email platform called MailChimp sent out, what number is that? Is that 100,000, 100,000, million, billion? Sent out 333 billion newsletters that, among other things, drove 64 billion plus in revenue. Whew. The newsletter is just one of the best ways to get information done. And everybody has one. Atlantic, New York Times, Washington Post, WSJ. Everybody's got New York newsletters, and they've got different newsletters inside the organization. So if you just want to get Kara Swisher's opinion pieces in newsletter from New York Times, you can get that. If you want to go to what is it called? Newsletter. Oh God, I feel so bad because oh God. What is the big newsletter called? Oh my gosh. I completely forgot. It's, I just saw it in my head. I feel so stupid. Newsletter program. Let me just type in newsletter program. Oh man. MailChimp is one. What is the other one? It's like, this is so frustrating. This is the most frustrating thing that's ever happened in this stupid show ever. And I cannot, because I talked about it like 4 times, and I can pull out things from my butt as if it's something that happened yesterday. Let's see if I type in the words newsletter, subtext. Is it subtext or sublead? Oh, Jesus. That's not even here. Oh, my God. What is it called? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But now people are leaving their jobs to go write newsletters for this company whose name I forgot. Let me see. Substack. Yes. Substack. I did, like, it just came. I was like, sub something. People are leaving their jobs to get Substack, to work with Substack. And yes, it's not, I scrolled down and it's literally in the paragraph below where I was looking. God dang it. And I mean, and their trends. People like subscribing to people that they like. Casey Newton, the woman who's on path to make $1 billion this year from Substack subscriptions alone. People love hearing this form of interaction or reading this form of interaction. And now that Substack is expanding out to video and Clubhouse even Clubhouse is not doing too hot from what I understand, but it's this is wrong. I have the wrong article up for the next follow-up article from this. Let me see. newsletter. Okay. This is the right thing. This next one comes from Vanity Fair to continue off the topic, written by Delia Kai, called "A Good Newsletter Exit Strategy is Hard to Find as Burnout and New Opportunities Beckon. Newsletter writers navigate the awkward matter of quitting and issuing refunds. It's just the latest wrinkle in the digital economy's complications of work and worth." And, I think, and again, this goes back to what I was thinking about this morning in regards to having to leave a bunch of podcasts because I was tired of hearing the same cynical opinion over and over again. It is someone quitting something like a podcast or a Substack or a Patreon. Let's go a Patreon and Substack. Someone, if your money comes from a subscription platform, it's always interesting to see, especially somebody like a comedian, go and deal with, hey, I can no longer do this, and if you want to keep paying, you keep paying, and if not, then I understand. Your fans dictate, especially when you go free like that. Your fans dictate your pay and how much and your worth, essentially. Yes, Nova. They do. They like I was looking at the Patreon for Hollywood Handbook and the Flagrant Ones Patreon, and they're making something like, I think, like $40,000 a month. But if they say the wrong thing at any point, which I don't think their fans really care, because their fans are ravenous. They're full of ravin. If you make that much, if you make money on Patreon, you say the wrong thing, then your fans could go no more. Let me look at Bon Appetit. They're not them, but the company was found to be treating people of color wrong, and then basically they just went up in flames, up in smoke. It's not in flames. The company's still going pretty strong. And now their video views went from let me see, YouTube.com. Their video views went from 1 million and 1.5 million to barely 100,000. Let me see. Just typed in Bon Appetit on YouTube. All these people you don't even know in these videos anymore. Yeah, 159,000 for a video, 346. I guess that's good. 280, 268. That's good. But like a year ago, when they had the people that were, the faces, 5 million views. But really, who cares? The fans are going to be the fans. So it's hard to resign from what is it saying about, hey, this article, I didn't read this article, but this article references the Atlantic's thing I just did. And the Atlantic's thing, whatchamacallit. But it's hard to maintain this stuff. You kind of have to have a motive for it, and when something better comes along, it's going to be tough to just stick with it. I don't say better. You get burnout. You know what? I'm going to save this final one for because I kind of actually have to get back to work. I'm going to save this final one for Friday. It's about UK film diversity. So we'll put it as the first story for, oh, Jesus. Here we go. All right. Anyway, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cplescomedy.com, where you can see me talk to comedians sometimes, do all this other stuff. Do all this other stuff at some point. If you want to see a video version of the show, youtube.com/cplescomedy, where you can see our premiere show, News Time, where I take a story in the entertainment business news world, and I dissect it, and I do it really good. Twitter, Instagram, @CPlusComedy. Me on Twitter, Instagram, @ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Rate, review, subscribe to this show. Tell your friends about it. wherever you get your podcasts. I'll see ya in a couple of days. Just a couple of days. Goodbye.